So, I finished Fire Emblem Engage the other night, and I have some miscellaneous thoughts on it I wanted to share. Not because I think anyone on this channel actually wants to hear, but because I am insanely hyper fixated on Fire Emblem and have been for this whole past year. So I kind of just want anyone who will listen to me to listen to me. I have so much to say about this franchise. I've beaten and played many, many JRPGs over this past year. It, I didn't play games that much for a few years. I haven't played video games that deeply in a while. So last year when I got into Fire Emblem, I ended up playing all three of the GBA games. I ended up playing Fire Emblem 4. Um, I'm making my way through Fire Emblem 5, Thracia. I'm making my way through Thracia, Path of Radiance. I beat Engage, and I'm also starting a Mystery of the Emblem. So I've been kind of all over this franchise recently. Um, and as somebody who's I'm like giving my credentials here. My favorite Fire Emblem is Binding Blade. Um, it's it is Fire Emblem distilled into what makes it unique to me. Um, and I really fuck with that game, really heavy. Um, Binding Blade, top of that list. Number two, Genealogy of the Holy War. Holy shit, that game rocks. Holy shit. Um, I have so much to say about Genealogy. It's such a masterclass in gameplay story integration. Um, and a lot of people say that the minute-to-minute gameplay isn't very fun. I disagree. I think it is fun. That's why I play it, obviously. But it's the gameplay is fun because interacting with the story is so fun, and the story is so fun because the gameplay is so it meshes so well. Um, and I have a lot to say on Fire Emblem for one day, but regardless. Uh, and then my favorite game after that, I was really fucking with Path of Radiance. I'm not quite done. I'm towards the last few chapters. Same with Thracia. I'd say like Path of Radiance and Thracia. I fuck with both of those games heavy. I haven't quite finished either of them. I'm taking a break on Thracia because when that game is good, it's really good. But it takes it out of you. It really takes it out of you. Um, I like, I look at a map and I'll get like tired looking at it. I'm like, fuck. I have to worry about all this shit. So, I'll have to get around to Thracia, soon. But, I'm taking a break for now. And then, after that, I'd probably go Blazing Blade, Sacred Stones, and then Awakening. Awakening was my first Fire Emblem. I played it way back when it came out. And I liked it a lot back then. But on retrospect, I like it less and less. So those are my credentials. That's what I value in Fire Emblem. So it means a lot when I say that Engage has the best gameplay, and it's not even close. I think it is probably my third favorite Fire Emblem, right after Genealogy. I think Engage is fucking incredible. It is so fun. It's so fun. It's so fun. Cause okay, people always say gameplay great, story bad, right? That's what people are saying about Engage, and I disagree. I don't think the story is bad. I don't. I genuinely don't. I think the actual plot itself is meandering, sure, but it is like a literally we have to collect all 12 things kind of plot. And that isn't bad to me because that's like it it doesn't need to be deep. It can just be fun, and it is fun. It's a fun story. I like the characters. They're enjoyable. All of the characters I was using were like I liked them well enough to keep them on my team. Um, some of the characters on the cast are some of my favorite in Fire Emblem. Period. Marin, Rosado. Those are like my two faves. Love them. I love Vale. Like, okay, getting into the story a bit. Spoilers, of course. Um, I really think that the entire story is like it's light and fluffy for most of it, and towards the end when it takes like a more serious turn, I don't think I don't think it's bad. A lot of people are saying that the ending didn't stick for them. That like the game didn't stick the landing, and I can understand that. It does get like in a lot of like silly anime bullshit, mainly like the power of friendship. What? But I like that shit a lot. And um, the I really like the themes of family in the game and what it means to have parents, what it means to have a sibling. Um, I think it's really beautiful, actually. It made me smile a lot. Uh, Towards the end of the game, I think the story gets better. Because I really like the character dynamics of Vale, Olir, Lumira, um, and Sombron. I think they're all just like it feels good to see like someone's chosen family like really working out and like I don't know, it's a feel good story, man. It makes me smile. There's a lot of like death and sadness that I think is pulled off really well. I think all the characters that get like a redemption arc, like it serves them well. I think it works great. Um, I kind of as a little I was tearing up a little when Zephyr and Grease died. I was like, fuck, damn, you know. I was I was really feeling that, and Marnie too. I love her. I I really thought she was going to be a playable unit. This is very sad. Um, but that's all the story stuff. That's like I like that part of the game, but the gameplay, dude. Okay, so I think part of the reason why Engage works so well for me is because it has that like Fire Emblem genealogy and Thracia mindset of like giving you insanely powerful tools and just letting it rip. I'm a huge fan of it. The game throws a lot of bullshit at you, but it gives you so many tools to deal with the bullshit that it feels fair. It does feel fair. Like one of my favorite chapters in the game. I think it's like 18. Can't remember off top, but it's the one where there's 6 bosses on the map, and they all have emblem rings, and you have the other 6 emblem rings. So it's like you're equally powered. You're equally powered up, and they have some of the more powerful ones like Sigurd or Roy. Um, it's really good. I'm a huge fan of that shit. So like that map in particular is a great example of like it's just like this chaotic scramble of all these bosses moving towards you, all with insane powers, and you're like frantically using all of your abilities to like mitigate them and try and pick them off one by one, but sometimes you're gonna deal with 2, sometimes you're gonna deal with 3 at a time, and it's just it's exciting. It's exciting gameplay. Um, and it's I think the best part of Engage is the bosses because they'll actually give bosses like threatening behavior. Um, Almost all of the bosses move, which is not common in Fire Emblem. Very few of the games have movable bosses. Uh, and I don't think any other game has every boss that moves. Nearly every boss. So all the bosses move. All the bosses have multiple health bars. That is a game fucking changer. Um, Having it so you can't just have your most powerful unit hit the boss, kill him, and be good to go. You need at least two other people to like actually take down the boss, and they're usually beefy as hell. Um, they're buff, they're beefy. You actually have to dedicate a lot of resources to kill the boss. And there's like this push and pull of, okay, do I want to use my engage powers earlier to make the map easier, or do I want to try and like save them for the end when the boss is here, just so I can get that little bit of extra like juice to push him over the edge and end the map. It's a really good push and pull, and it's also like, okay, I could engage earlier, and then I can build up my bar, or I can go one of the blue tiles and refill the meter, and you're making so many you're making so many tiny decisions that are actually important and impactful on the map. And they all feel important. But when you make a mistake, it's also like, okay, I can recover from this. Part of that is due to the like rewind feature. That's like probably my biggest complaint about Engage is the draconic time crystal. I think it encourages the worst behavior in Fire Emblem, which is like re-saying every single time a character dies and like abusing it to like just rig the RNG in your favor essentially. And it enables it very much, so I constantly do it. It's not a good habit, but I'm planning to do another playthrough soon where I don't use the Draconic Time Crystal at all. I'm gonna play on hard and do an Iron Man. If a character dies, they die. That's the current plan I want to do. But anyways, that's my biggest complaint with Engage. The fact that my biggest complaint with Engage can be ignored is crazy. I guess I'm also not a fan of the hub world, but a lot of it's really ignorable, so whatever. My point being, Engage gives you a lot of tools. It gives you a lot of fun things to play around with. It's just a blast. It's just a blast, front to back. I really hope that the next Fire Emblem follows in its footsteps. Because I've tried to get into Three Houses a couple times, but I'm not really a fan of the general like ethos of it. I think Fire Emblem is at its best when it feels like Fire Emblem. I think Engage feels more like a JRPG that uses Fire Emblem aspects, if that makes any sense. I think engaging with the permadeath system is essential to understanding what makes Fire Emblem tick. And I don't know. That shit rocks to me. I'm a big fan. So, TLDR, if you're interested in playing Fire Emblem, I think the best starting points are probably Blazing Blade. Yeah, I'd say Blazing Blade for the GBA. That's the one that kicked off this whole hyperfixation. I would say after you finish Blazing Blade, I really want to recommend Binding Blade, but I don't think a lot of people will appreciate it. Like, you can appreciate it as a sequel, to, Blazing Blade, because actually Blazing Blade is a prequel, but if you play Blazing Blade and then Binding Blade, it, like, the story flows quite well. But, my point is, I don't know if I would say, like, the order you should do is Blazing Blade, Sacred Stones, Binding Blade. That's my recommendation, because Blazing Blade and Sacred Stones will like make you understand why I play Fire Emblem. It'll probably like make you understand why I like the franchise, and then go back to Binding Blade, because that's distilled Fire Emblem to me. And then after that, go wherever you want. My TLDR is, after you've played a bunch of the games, go and play Engage, because there's a lot of good fan service. There's a lot of like returning to old ideas. There's a lot of like, I mean, like, all the previous main characters are in it as emblems. Like, it's very fun, and I like seeing my favorite little guys. Okay, end of thing.